Well, as I've often said, and boy, do I say it often, the best bet when it comes to the big two of American superhero comics is the out-of-continuity titles. And that's certainly true of Marvel these days because their regular titles stink, although apparently some of them are starting to get good. So I'll have to check on that later. But anyway, the recent example of this out-of-continuity stuff is the Alien versus series. The first one they did was Aliens versus the Avengers. Now we have Alien versus Captain America. I don't know if they're crafting an overall tale that this is the same Captain America who later in the distant future, because boy, that really is the distant future. So I don't know if that probably not, but it doesn't matter. It's the story into it itself. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Although I suppose they could follow up on this, should they so desire. But anyway, I've already reviewed the first two issues. And, of course, Captain America, it's during World War II. The xenomorphs have arrived, and the Red Skull and Hydra get a hold of him when Red Skull wants to use it for the war effort. In the meantime, Captain America is dealing with this. Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos ran afoul of the xenomorphs to very terrible results, and Captain America and Bucky tried to help out. And after surviving that, suddenly, oh no, here comes the Kree, led by Captain Marvel, arriving much earlier than he did in the original Marvel Universe, but, whatever. So there he is in his original outfit from way back when, standing side by side with Captain America, fighting these nasty xenomorphs. So that's where we are, and the xenomorphs are now being deployed to deal with... Oh, wait, no. This issue gives you the Kree story. So the Kree have been battling the xenomorphs, and you get a background story of where they discover a Skrull ship, their ultimate enemy. And then they find a ship filled with Skrull carcasses and the face huggers. Oh, no, you know what's coming. And the aliens come out and attack the Kree. And worst of all, due to the fact that they've mixed with the Skrull DNA, they've developed shape-shifting powers. So, unfortunately, the Kree are unprepared for this. And, well, you see what happens. And so a big, long galactic war breaks out between the Kree and the xenomorphs. And so that's how they came to know it. And they've tracked them to Earth, so they show up. And, well, the Kree and the humans have a common enemy in the form of the xenomorphs. And so that's kind of the backstory on, hey, what are they doing here? Well, we got the same infestation that you do. We want to stamp these little bastards out. So they've had some success, but, of course, if there's one alien left, that's one too many. So in the fourth and final issue, the final confrontation. So there you got the cover. There's he better move because that little thing, it's fast. It just, and then no more nose, Anyway, there's D-Day, but it went a little differently. Oh no, they had a bunch of they got a bunch of xenomorphs attacking the troops coming in at Normandy. Oh no, it looks bad. And then suddenly, oh no, fire from heaven. What can it be? Well, it's the Kree and Sergeant Fury and Jan Rog. See, in this version, he's pretty much on the side of the angels because it's all over if he's not. So anyway, there we go. Some Kree and their ships, and they're helping out. So looks like D-Day's going to work after all, So meanwhile, Captain Marvel and Captain America, the two captains, they take on the Hydra manipulated xenomorphs. And oh no, look what's happened. It appears Red Skull has merged with the xenomorph. And so they got to deal with that. So it's a raucous battle. You get throwbacks, of course, or callbacks, what have you, to the World War II era of Marvel. And here's the other members of the Invaders. So Namor, of course, the original Human Torch, Union Jack, and Spitfire. I don't know if this is when she became a vampire or after. But anyway, there they go, battling idiot Hydra agents and, of course, the Xenomorphs. But hey, how does it turn out? Well, you know, usually in these superhero stories, only one side can win, and you pretty much know who will. But nevertheless, you got to read it to find out. But it's raucous fun. Of course, no continuity, but at this point, it's better that way because Marvel long ago destroyed its continuity, and so it doesn't really matter anymore. So fun little jaunts like this works better. Of course, you kind of apply it to somewhat of continuity in the sense that the characters are in their original form and personalities, and it makes for a nice, good tell. So I imagine they'll keep doing these. They own the property now, so there'll probably be other I don't know, Spider-Man versus aliens, probably the Defenders versus the Fantastic Four versus aliens. Now I'm kind of surprised they didn't start with that, because that's right up their alley. It's the kind of thing, because Fantastic Four is primarily a science fiction story. It's superheroes, but still a lot of science fiction in there. And yeah, you could see them coming across some derelict ship or whatever, investigating it. And, oh, no! That kind of thing. And with it being out of continuity, there's no guarantee that, beloved characters will survive. No. So anyway, there you go. It's a fun read. And if, you're bored, missing Marvel from the good old days, this is a title you can check out and have fun with. Meanwhile, over at DC, the best thing they've got going, and they do have better titles than Marvel. They've long surpassed Marvel in quality. So there's some good titles. Some of them are just sort of okay, really, not, fantastic or anything, but leaps and bounds superior to what Marvel has delivered. And so it's just better. So meanwhile, their Absolute line does a hell of a lot more than the new Ultimate line did for Marvel. But out of Ultimate, the best selling is, of course, Absolute Batman. But the best in narrative and story and whatnot is Absolute Wonder Woman. It's just no contest. And that's just the way it is. So now this is the issue that introduces their new Suicide Squad. So I guess by the nature of Suicide Squad, Zatanna is bad girl now. And of course, boy, she loves her fishnet. So now she's got a fishnet bodysuit. She's wearing black pants, so you can't see the fishnet pantyhose, but they're there. But I guess it's the whole bodysuit, John Constantine has seen it. But anyway, the rest of it, so I guess it's kind of a reverse of her usual look and what have you. But anyway, she's kind of the leader of the Absolute Suicide Squad. The only dumb thing is that it's all female. So they're Suicide Girls. Giggle. Tee-hee. Anyway, another flashback to the mythical past when Diana was growing up in hell. Well, that's the version of this story. Anyway, here's Aphrodite, and this is how she appears in the Absolute universe. And he's like, hey, what's the hell? She's naked except for this really... a really big veil or, sexy burqa where it's open on the sides, which kind of defeats the point of a burqa. But I guess it's kind of like the line from the Beatles, Come Together, She's got to be good looking because she's so hard to see, Besides, she's the goddess of love and stuff. And everybody wanted to bang Aphrodite in the good old days, so... she's got to be really hot under there, She's so hot, her eyes are glowing. Anyway, baby Diana, and she's saying, hello, my little gumdrop. So she visited Diana back in the day. You see that? Boy, she is teasing up a storm. That's the sluttiest burqa I've ever seen. Anyway, Diana says, squeal. And she said, and what did you do today, darling girl? I guess she squealed. I don't know. Wake up, Diana. So she's dreaming about that while she takes a nap in her little garden there. with Bambi's family and her dead horse Pegasus. Yeah. So anyway, she wakes up. Aphrodite, something is coming. Oh no! So you got to get your boots back on, you know. So she goes over to her Hall of Justice, which is what her home looks like. I don't know, maybe that's what they're going to do. Eventually this becomes the Hall of Justice for the Absolute Justice League. Anyway, so she heads over to meet Ferdinand the Minotaur. And she senses disturbance in the force and has got to go deal with stuff. And they're like, huh? I don't know. So meanwhile, Steve Trevor's got to give testimony to Congress. And he decides, if you guys can't accept that Wonder Woman's a superhero, then I quit. You know, that kind of thing. And there you go. So that's the setup there. But what's the deal with it all? Well, you know the drill. You got to read it to find out. But point by point, even the weaker issues just flow better. Again, for the most part, and I mean, both Batman and Superman got the comic typically beat in the art department. The art is professional and it's consistent, and it kind of fits the mythological thing because, like I've said, the styling kind of is sometimes a bit reminiscent of ancient drawings and whatnot. So you know, it's not that big of a gripe. It's just, well, the other art is just so action oriented and stuff. And I'm a guy, you know, but Superman for the most part, and now that's drastically changed, unfortunately. So that gives Wonder Woman quite the bump. It's on the art department, you know. And of course, Absolute Batman, I had to quit for reasons other than just its presentation, but yeah, I just can't abide by statements like that. So anyway, there we go. Wonder Woman remains the best. But then again, speaking on its art, well, there was an annual. That's right. The annual of Duty Duty 6 for Absolute Wonder Woman. That's the first one. So it's some story that she's got to deal with what became of Medusa, and she feels so bad about it, and she's just got to resolve this. And so you have this, once again, very much akin to mythological storytelling. But here you have a new artist do the work for the annual, and they're really good, you know. So here she is, she's rescuing these kids, but I mean, she looks scarier than Batman now, you know, that helmet that looks like some kind of bug thing. But then she takes it off and says, look, I'm a pretty girl. And they're like, yay. And then the little boy wants the helmet. You know, it's all, oh, isn't that sweet? And she saves them from the fire. So, you know, she's a hero and all that. And another trip to the Hall of Justice. And she's saving more lives. This is all the stuff she does. In the meantime, she keeps praying to Athena to, hey, it's really horrible what happened to Medusa. And, I want this addressed and fixed. So she keeps praying to Athena, but Athena just doesn't answer. Meanwhile, she's got, you know, supervillains to deal with, and so she takes out her frustrations on them, knocking out this guy's teeth, you know, stuff like that. I mean, here she's saving this guy, you know, but here she's just beating the crap out of this dude. She's mad because Athena didn't answer, but still, I'm sure he had it coming, and he looks like a villain. I mean, what's that on his head, you know? I wonder if this can't... I was wondering if they would do their Dr. Psycho, because you haven't seen him in a while, even in the real Wonder Woman. And I'm wondering how they would approach that for Absolute Wonder Woman. But anyway, that'll, you know, if they get there. So eventually, back to Bambi and stuff. Here she is praying again. Come on, Athena. No. Now she's got this other supervillain. Beats the crap out of her, goes back. Come on, Athena. No. And she is saving some people from a flood. All that good stuff, you know. And then even more, she's praying and stuff. Come on, Athena. And then it gives you a little montage of all these other activities, battling supervillains. It would be cool to see more of action and fighting supervillains, you know, the mythology aspect is a big part of Wonder Woman. It's her origin and all that. But still, she does have classic supervillains to deal with. So it'd be cool to get some more of those in there. But anyway, hopefully there'll be more concentration on that elsewhere. But this is, it's an annual, so it's some special story. So anyway, she's back to praying. And then finally, Athena has had enough. Apparently, the gods don't have the mute or block feature. They can't ghost you. So even an immortal goddess is like, she will not shut up. And so this sets the stage for the story. And Wonder Woman says, "Hey, I want to fix this with Medusa." So she does, and it is in line with how mythological narratives would go. So it fits that way. Is this big badass battle? Well, kinda. And then, you'll have to read to find out. But it's good. In fact, I think it's better than the regular issue in some ways. But it's its own unique means by which the way that the Absolute Wonder Woman is structured and presented, and has a consistency to it. And it does it well. Is it ever going to beat Absolute Batman sales-wise? No. That's too bad, but it's not. Absolute Batman, despite my misgivings about the political statements and whatnot of Snyder and his artist and all that, the one who did the annual of Batman, which is absolutely atrocious, but nevertheless, Absolute Batman just brings bucket loads of excitement and action and just weird, crazy crap. So it's got that going for it. And I know, it just steals the show with that. But still, for intelligence and whatnot, the edge is still Wonder Woman. Will it matter? Probably not. But I don't know what the sales on Absolute Wonder Woman are. Hopefully it's doing well, because it deserves it. So there you go. Absolute Wonder Woman. Another good job from, Absolute Wonder Woman. Meanwhile, in the real DC universe, you still got that stupid DC KO business. Another event, another reboot, another reset. So you got the offshoots. Most of them are one-shots, but of course it's Batman! So he gets, 4 issues for Night Fight! And it's all a dream. Nothing really matters. But you do get Dan Mora's art. This is not a perfect example of Dan Mora's art, as he depicts the drawings of Bruce Wayne's grandson in this possible alternate future. But like I said, the art of Dan Mora, it's just really good, Now, some of this he might be tracing some actual photos and whatnot, but he does it well. And then here's your characters. Alfred Wayne, the grandson of Bruce Wayne, and there's Damian, his son, and they're hanging out. And old man Bruce is just having the time of his life that he's ever had. He's got a family, a whole family and legacy, and it's what he's always wanted, and here it is. And so he's having a great time watching cartoons with his grandson, just, throwing the ball, playing with toys, reading stories. It's the greatest thing ever. It's clearly paradise for Bruce Wayne. And it goes on and on about that. But ultimately, why is he there? What is this about? And of course, it's some lesson. It's all very predictable and that sort of thing. And it's like, hey, what are we fighting for anyway? Well, it's this and stuff like that. And what this all was as to how he escaped his fate from the tournament and then how he gets back. Spoiler, he got back, which I actually saw the issue where he came back. before I finished this one, so I guess I spoiled myself. But overall, was this necessary? No. I mean, it gives an explanation for what happened to him when he was cut down. But the whole thing about the tournament is ultimately, once it's done, everything's reset. That was the point of it. So even if they died, it didn't matter because the reality that they'd come from wouldn't exist anymore either, and all that. So it's just a matter of, hey, we want to be in charge to reset the universe instead of Darkseid. And but okay, I can understand that, but and then all the other things where they were fighting pro wrestlers or some offshoots like that. Good God. Look, I enjoyed the over-the-top crazy of Dark Knight's Metal, but you keep going to the trough. And you found, Absolute Batman does it in its own way, and it's almost like a callback to the absurdities of 90s action comics, and not Superman's action, but the action-adventure genre and whatnot of the 90s comics. And those were over the top and testosterone-fueled and steroids and super steroids and stuff and all that. It was crazy. And so to do that and do this surreal narrative of Batman, and it's rather clever. So that's a good one. On KO, there's none of that. So they've got to stop with the events. The best bet here is, okay, this is your reset, so you start from point one, but they won't. So, I don't know. Some of the titles, good, so long as they are allowed to breathe, and occasionally they do, but ultimately, they're better than Marvel, but at this day and age, that ain't saying anything anymore. But they got a new boss on the way with the sale and everything, with Warner Brothers being sold to Paramount. So who knows what's going to come of that? But we're going to find out. So anyway, Night Fight. Other than Dan Mora's art, there's really no reason to look at this. But if you're a completist, then I guess you got to get it. Meanwhile, one of the absolute best titles out there has nothing to do with DC and Marvel. No. It's Geiger, part of Ghost Machine, distributed by Image Comics. Yeah. So it's continuing on now. Time travel because of the Northerner, the mysterious character who keeps coming in and out of time. And there's all kind of mysterious hints here for Geiger himself. They discover this tank that seems to have been, it was delivered to them by the mysterious bosses of the Northerner who have controlled the time travel technology. And the Northerner, of course, remembers a time where the South won the Civil War. Of course, Geiger's like, no, they didn't. So he's in the timeline where it didn't, and yet he's like, well, either way, look what the world is now. It's been totally irradiated, nuclear fallout, so who cares? Yeah. But anyway, they join up. But now, the tank is not called a time tank just because it arrived from the future or whatever. It's an actual time machine. So that's an interesting thing, and that's their time machine. It's not a DeLorean, it's a tank. So so there's a few more clues as to what this all means. Telltale details for the Northerner, of course, and the mystery about him and all that. And, of course, Gary Frank's back, so that's always great on the art. And here's the fascinating Piata cover. Oh, no. Doesn't look good for the Northerner. I wonder what's going to happen. Well, it doesn't happen this issue, and there's the mysterious time travel lights and stuff. But for whatever reason, the mysterious Time Lords, or Time Bosses, wanted the Northerner to partner up with Geiger. So the mystery continues, but it's just easily one of the best titles available right now. And Ghost Machine is really, kicking ass big time. The only real competitors is Titans Conan the Barbarian, which is excellent, and Mark Millar's comics, which I gotta get back into. Yeah. Why do I waste time on crap I already know is crap? It's like a sickness. Well, it is. I guess it is. But at least some of it's really cool. So anyway, there you go. Once again, when it comes to these independent titles, that's, I think it's just going to be that way for however long this medium lasts. And so yeah, once again, Geiger for the win. That's your best bet out of all these titles. So there you go. I read them, so you didn't have to. But I do think some of these you should check out, especially Geiger. But as far as the mainstream goes, your best bet is Absolute Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's the way it is. Well, in comic book news, Dark Horse Comics founder Mike Richardson ousted after 40 years. Well, that's kind of sad, but these things do happen, So that's it. He's out of the company he founded. So the move comes from parent company Embracer Group, which purchased Dark Horse in doody-doody-doo. These things happen when you have to sell your company to survive. Richardson had remained in charge following the acquisition, but has now been replaced by gaming executive Jay Comas, who will serve as interim CEO. Dark Horse was launched by Richardson in 1986 and grew into one of the biggest independent comic publishers in the industry, known for titles including Hellboy, the absolute best, the Umbrella Academy, and licensed properties such as Star Wars, Aliens, and Predator. Now, all under Disney, yeah. They were better under Dark Horse, I think. But Marvel's supposed to do all those titles now. Well, anyway, in announcing the decision, Embracer said the change is part of a broader effort to integrate Dark Horse more closely with its larger entertainment portfolio.
As part of our long-term vision to better align Dark Horse with a more connected and forward-looking group structure, we are implementing changes to modernize the business and strengthen collaboration across publishing, games, film, merchandise, and other key areas, Embracer said in a statement sent to business partners and creators in announcing the 1-2 punch of firing and promotion. Our goal is simple, to ensure Dark Horse is positioned for sustained success while continuing to serve creators, partners, and fans at the highest level.
Embracer has installed Jay Comas as interim CEO. The executive comes from the gaming side of the company and brings experience managing large entertainment franchises across multiple platforms. Comas, the company stated, brings extensive experience with global intellectual properties across games, film, and consumer products. Over the course of his career, he has held senior leadership roles in Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, and LucasArts, where he worked with some of the most recognized entertainment brands in the world. His background in managing and expanding IP across multiple categories will be instrumental as we build on Dark Horse's legacy and strengthen its position in an increasingly connected entertainment landscape. Yeah. Well, Richardson, of course, founded Dark Horse after previously running a comic book store business in Oregon. Under his leadership, the company became one of the most influential independent publishers in comics, especially during the 1990s indie boom. The company also expanded into film and television through Dark Horse Entertainment, producing projects such as The Umbrella Academy and several Hellboy adaptations. Richardson remained CEO when Embracer acquired Dark Horse in doody-doody-doo as part of the gaming giant's push to expand into transmedia storytelling across comics, games, film, and merchandise. Well, it looks like they're more interested in games. So they bought whatever IP Dark Horse has access to, and hey, let's develop some games based on that. So the comics, are they really that interested in it? How many of these things will remain in print? I don't know. So his exit now marks a major shift for the publisher as Embracer looks to reshape its entertainment divisions. Hi, Tomb Raider. The leadership shakeup also comes as Embracer continues dealing with financial pressure from across multiple divisions. The company's latest investor report shows major declines in revenue across several operating segments, highlighting the broader restructuring underway. Okay, you can see all the declines. Boy, the games aren't doing all that great either, are they? Yeah, that's, I wonder what happened. Could it be some of the narratives the games do these days? Maybe that's it. I don't know. But there you go. So basically, they really don't care too much about the comics as comic books, so they figured, hey, why do we need some guy to run that? We don't have the money to pay him anyway, so, gee, Mike, thanks for your help and stuff, but bye-bye. And that's apparently what happened. So, yeah, that's kind of, it's not totally the end of Dark Horse Comics for the moment, but it kind of seems like it almost is and probably is eventually. But they did a lot of great stuff. Yeah. Most notably Hellboy. Those things were magnificent. But, you know, all good things and all that. Well, you know, the Marvel movies are based on Marvel comics. Yeah, that's right. So sometimes the comics tries to tie into that. It never really lands, but hey, they tried. But now they're revealing certain plot points for the next Spider-Man movie. That it's not a secret to anybody. I mean, I think they've even admitted it a time or two. So, but anyway, Marvel Comics confirms Hulk and Punisher for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I mean, we've seen Punisher on the set, so. But anyway, well, if we didn't have an official confirmation that the Hulk and Punisher are appearing in Spider-Man Brand New Day, we do now, thanks to Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics has announced a new Out of Continuity, which means it might actually be a good little series. 5-issue miniseries aptly titled Spider-Man Long Way Home from writer Jonathan Hickman and artist Andy Kubert. If you didn't know, Hickman is the MCU's go-to guy. Yeah, if he would just finish things, you know, and is tasked with adapting Marvel Studios' ideas into the comics, not vice versa. So, right in time with July's release of the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie, Marvel Comics announces the same characters and title in a miniseries. It's not a coincidence. Question is, do the movie fans care? Does Disney? Details below. Probably no to all of that. Anyway, leaks and set pics have already confirmed both John Bernthal and Mark Ruffalo. So, yeah. So, it's not revealing a whole lot. Hey, look, a cosmic cube. MCU fans are like, what? You mean Tesseract? No, well, yeah, okay, never mind. Marvel Comics has announced a new limited series. Yeah, the series sends 3 of Marvel's most recognizable characters into a violent race to secure a cosmic cube, setting the stage for a 3-way, showdown between Peter Parker, Frank Castle, and Bruce Banner. So there's another cover. Probably going to the Savage Land. I don't know. They're in the jungle. And, they got to figure something out. Anyway, Spider-Man Long Way Home takes place in a world before the Punisher became known and before the Hulk was widely believed to exist. Again, the story is not set in the main Marvel universe. In this setting, the organization AIM has just developed a cosmic cube deep in the jungles of South America. Okay, that's where they are. Anyway, Peter Parker, Frank Castle, and Bruce Banner each set out on their own mission to prevent the cube from falling into the wrong hands. However, each of them also becomes a threat to the others as the pursuit escalates into a brutal 3-way, oh my God, again, conflict for control of the powerful artifact. Marvel says the story will deliver a darker tone and a high-stakes confrontation between the 3 characters as they collide over the power of the cosmos. So anyway, here's the art, you know. Looks like Punisher's going to get in a shootout with these other guys. I don't know, or he's a part of their mission. Yeah, they're going to hop out of the Helicopter. Oh, he shaved his beard to look like his skull mask. See? He's clever, isn't he? I don't know. It kind of looks stupid. Your favorite DC director? Well, I gotta go creep. I kind of know. I'm probably. See, I'm right. I'm always right. Well, look, he's in second place. Zack Snyder. Tim Burton last. I mean, his Batman movies were weird, but they were at least fun. Yeah. But anyway, there you go. Hulk and Punisher are in the Spider-Man movie. That's not really breaking news or anything, but hey, look, they're going to be together in a comic book too that has absolutely nothing to do with the movie or even the regular Marvel Comics itself. But that probably means, due to its out of continuity nature, and it's a fun read. I might just have to check this out. So, there you go.